Hello, welcome to my channel. It's your girl Sharon, aka the Melanin Nostalgic Runner, and we are back. Yes, I did not do this in the order this week, but I finally got to it. So there are a lot of videos this week. This is the sixth video I've done, and no, seventh total for this week, which is the most I've done since I think last year. Last year I was constantly cranking out the videos, or 2 years ago when I started this channel, I was really cranking out the videos, but now it's like, okay, this is a lot. But anyway, that's not why we're here. We're here to review The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, and this is season, I believe, hold on, child. Season 14, episode 4. No, episode 7. Wow. And let me get the name of the episode real quick. Hold on. You already know. I'm going to get it for you. I don't feel like editing this out, so it's just going to be what it is. What the Chuck? There we go. I knew Chuck was in there somewhere because something happens in the episode where it makes sense. But anyway, before we get into the review, I'm just going to state the obvious. Kyle is truly insufferable. I know we've said this for probably the past 4 or 5 seasons. We want this to be her last season. I really want it to be her last season. She does not need to be on this show. And the way she acts so entitled, and what's getting me is I just got done watching the after show also. She really thinks this is her show. And yes, she is the face of the show because she's been on the show from the beginning. But this is not your show. This is not the Kyle Richards show. Okay? But she acts like that. And she's just such a hypocrite. And she wants to just stay on this show forever, but not share any parts of her real life. She hasn't, she's been just like this, tight-lipped about what's going on in her real life, but she expects everyone else to share what's going on in their lives. And frankly, she's killing the show. And this was the first episode that I watched. I was like, damn it, I really wish Lisa Vanderpump was on this show, because she would have gotten Kyle together. And because what they're trying to do to Dorit, I'm sorry, it's disgusting. I feel like both Kyle and Dorit are one and the same person. They're trying to do the same thing that they did to Lisa Vanderpump to each other. It's just the difference is Kyle has the upper hand, but from the audience standpoint, she doesn't. But that didn't change anything when it came to Lisa Vanderpump of it all. But it's just a lot of, I don't know, tit for tat stuff that I'm hoping they turn a corner in it at some point, because 1 or 2 seasons of it's one thing, but this cannot continue to be a thing. And then the way the cast members are playing tug of war with bows. Do y'all not have any other black? I'm sorry, I'm confused. Why are you so wanting? It's annoying. It's annoying. And it's very clear to me, it's not really about friendships, about alliances. And that's what's happening here. And I'm kind of already over it, but it was a good episode, by the way. So I know you probably think because I'm worked up, I didn't like the episode. I actually love the episode. It's just a lot of things kind of just annoyed me. But it was a really, really good episode. So I'm saying all that because I'm locked in. I am locked in. I will tell you that. But anyway, without further ado, let's actually get into the meat and potatoes of the episode. So we saw that the last episode ended as a to be continued. So we're resuming this. We're still at this fight at the Viper Room. And Dorit is letting her have it. She's like, you will not be able to yell at me. And literally, Dorit looks like she's about to lunge at her. And it's getting bad. And so everyone separates, and then Dorit's like, look, I'm not going to do this with you. And it got so heated that Garcelle chimed in oddly and Garcelle, I'm side-eyeing you. I've been side-eyeing you this whole season so far, along with Sutton, but I'm really side-eyeing you this episode. Girl, read the room. In the words of Dorit, I'm sorry, I hate to say it, read the room. Because then she's asking Dorit, are you okay? And it's kind of like in a condescending way. And it's kind of like, and Dorit's like, me and you haven't seen it for each other for a couple seasons now. So are you asking me genuinely, or are you asking me like just cause? And don't get twisted. I still understand why Garcelle don't see it for Dorit. I remember everything Dorit did to her. We see each other, Garcelle. But your movement and the way you're acting, it's very indecisive and peculiar to me. It's like, do you want to be friends with Dorit or do you not? Like this weird in-between thing is for me, it's odd. I'm at the point when it comes to Dorit and Garcelle, I need you to pick a side and stay there. Either you continue to do your weird passive-aggressive digs, which kind of comes off as like, bothered, or pay her dust. And this is if you don't want to be friends with her ever or cordial towards her ever, or pay her dust. Unfortunately, the pay her dust would not be good for the show. But also the other thing that you're doing right now with the passive aggressive, that's not really working either, because it makes you look bad. Because similar to like Beau's, this is Beau's first season. And if anyone's watching this and this is their first season, they're going to look at you like, why are you doing all that for like Dorit? You basically have to know the history of Dorit and Garcelle's relationship to understand why Garcelle's acting this way. But it still is not a good look. So I really need Garcelle to kind of pick a side and stay there. I think she's trying to like be cordial and be cool towards her. But I think also the other thing that we don't talk about when it comes to Garcelle and Dorit situation, and yes, it was giving a lot of microaggressions when it came to Dorit. But the other piece that I feel like no one talks about is it was the Fox Force 5 thing. And now that no longer exists, this is the aftermath. So we're still seeing the aftermath of all that. And the Fox Force 5 were basically Mean Girls. And Dorit was part of it. She was probably the nicest of the Mean Girls, ironically, but she was part of that group. But to me, the way I see it partially is, if you can be cool with Kyle, who actually was a ringleader of that whole entire group, but you can't be cool with Dorit, I have questions. And also, too, I guess for me, if I know someone who does microaggression type things, I'm not just looking at you as an individual. I'm going to look at all your friends and be like, wait, do you think that too? I would be looking at the whole group sideways. I wouldn't just necessarily be looking at Dorit that way. So that's why, for me, when it comes to how Garcelle acts, is kind of confusing. But anyway, so she basically asked, are you okay? And then Dorit's like, you know what? I just can't do this. And so Dorit leaves. She does apologize to Erica, let her know, like, hey, I'm sorry I ruined your event. You have a good time. I'm gone. I just can't. I'm over this situation. And then Beau's is still sticking up for Dorit. She's like, it does kind of look funny in the light that you have these text messages with her ex-husband after they're going through a divorce right now. It's kind of violating girl code. And Kyle does not look amused, because we know Kyle don't like getting called out on her BS, but we know that this is a whole bunch of BS. And that's pretty much how this thing ends. So next, it's the next day, and some of the girls meet up to kind of discuss the aftermath of everything that occurred at the Viper Room. So we have Kyle, Garcelle, and they go to Sun's place, and they're basically having a country club day. And Sun has a tennis court in her yard, so they have a tennis instructor and they go to play tennis. But before they do that, they kind of kiki about the event and talk about and Kyle's talking about, my head is still spinning after everything that happened. And then same thing with Garcelle. When she joins, she says the same thing, because again, it was kind of intense. Like they looked like they were about to throw some bows. Yeah, so I don't know, because I know allegedly some people and some of the reviewers I listen to think that this whole thing with Dorit and Kyle may not be real. I don't think Kyle's that great of an actress. I think this is real, guys. I'm sorry, let me call thing a thing. Dorit, maybe she can act, because Dorit, we don't really know who the real Dorit is and never have. So, I mean, and probably never will. So, Dorit maybe, but Kyle, no. She's not a good actress. I'm being shady. You already know that. But anyway, so they're talking about discussing it. And then they go and play tennis briefly. And then the subject of Beau's kind of, taking the side of Dorit and basically the closeness of Beau's and Erica and Dorit, them being all three of them being close, it's bothering Kyle now. Like the Kyle, we already knew it was bothering Garcelle and Sutton, but it's also now bothering, Kyle. And on the after show, Kyle, the way you talk, you be thinking you're eating, you be thinking you're not telling on yourself, but you be telling on yourself. Like anyone that has any type of comprehensive skills, they can see through your BS. And it's giving, Kyle was never friends with Dorit ever. Ever. If you go by how she's talking so spicy in the after show, they were never friends. And the fact that you are just basically calling out, that Dorit is friends with Beau's because she needed allies, like a survivor, which, you know what, two things can be true. That is true. Dorit did need that, but at the same time, Beau's, that's discrediting Beau's and her intentions, though. I feel like Beau's generally, gravitated towards Dorit and vice versa. It was probably on some surface level stuff because they were both looking cute, and then they moved it forward from there. And it was, it literally landed in Dorit's lap, which, great for her. But calling it just it's an alliance and stuff, is it kind of just makes me realize, that might be true for Dorit, but, and really, yes, because otherwise, if Dorit doesn't have any allies on the show, she don't get to stay on the show. So that is partially true, but at the same time, Kyle, you should be sitting there and eating your food, considering the fact that you had a whole entire group called the Fox Force 5 where you just ran people off the show constantly that you didn't want on the show. And really, you act like us as an audience don't know that you're literally trying to do that with Dorit. But Dorit, because she was part of that clique, knows what you're trying to do and is trying to get ahead of it. Yeah. It's not right, It's not right when the rabbit got the gun, right? It's not okay. So, if y'all watch the after show, the show was good, but that after show, it adds so much more perspective to it, but it also makes it where Kyle is truly insufferable. There's no reasoning behind how Kyle behaves on this show. But anyway, so then from there, they got done doing the tenets of it all, and they started talking about the PK and the texting, and Kyle is still doubling down that nothing was wrong with her texting PK, even though clearly everyone on planet Earth realizes that's not okay to really do. So for her, in her head, she thinks she's the exception to all these rules that, most of society lives by. And then they're trying to basically, both Sutton and Garcelle are trying to give her examples. If the shoe was on the other foot, you would not be okay with this. And she's like, but it's different. And it's no, but it's not. All of them are trying to let Kyle know, girl, wrong road. Kyle's standing in it. And then even Sutton was you had infidelity with your marriage, so why would you think this is okay? And then, child, Kyle was stuck on stupid for a second after she heard that word. She was like, what? What'd you say? And Garcelle literally looked like she was this, just like. She was trying to leave so badly. She wanted to be out of there. It was so clear because clearly Miss Grand Producer of this show apparently has all these safe words or things that she is that the girls basically won't talk to her about on the show. Even though we're supposed to be knowing your real life. So infidelity, which was part of her real life, the girls are not allowed to talk about it. But because Sutton is so clumsy, but also calculated, I think she did it on purpose. Quiet as kept it made seem like she didn't. Kyle was like, wait a minute. I didn't say we could talk about this on camera. That was literally the look that Kyle had. I did not say we could talk about this on camera. And then the producers, what gets me is the producers are on our side, thank God. And they're like, this was talked about last season on camera. Multiple times. Hell, technically the way you're gallivanting with Morgan, you were the one who was committing the infidelity, honestly. Let the being footage tell it. At least with Mauricio, it wasn't out there like that on the show. You put that out there on the show, which was another level compared to, you know, Mauricio potentially doing the same thing. Because let's be real, I think Kyle was always aware of anything that Mauricio had going on. And I think they had like kind of like respectable cheating. Like, don't let me see it. Don't do anything where I'm going to be caught up in anything and any of your mess. Just keep it clean. I think they had that kind of agreement. Don't embarrass me. The old adage of don't embarrass me. I think that's all it was. And I think it became too much. And maybe, I think also part of what's going on with Mo and Kyle is, y'all know Mo is tied up in a lot of like financial lawsuits right now, right? And if Kyle was a smart woman, and if that's the reason why she doesn't have the trust for him anymore, girl, if you don't file that divorce and get y'all assets together so that your money doesn't get tied up to all the things he got going on, I'm just saying, let's just call a thing a thing. But anyway, the record scratch, they talk about that, they get past it. Kyle's still doubling down that everything that she's doing is innocent, there's nothing wrong here. And she's basically lying. She is full of it. Lying, saying that she said, yeah, me and PK, we haven't said anything crazy to each other. Like, she's still doubling down on it, it's just memes. But we found out later on it wasn't just a meme. Because we knew it wasn't, because we were there when she texted PK initially on, I think it was like the episode 2 or whatever. It was the episode where the news broke of PK and Dorit's separation. Anyway, moving on. So now, Erica is on her way to the interior design like furniture store, and she is meeting Marlon Lawrence, the designer. And Dorit is joining as well, and they're just kind of walking along and talking about the different designs and stuff. And Erica seems very genuinely happy this season. I am enjoying Erica this season on the show. She doesn't really have much going on, but I'm enjoying her because she's actually happy for once, and she's not coming off as vile as she has in the previous seasons. Now, a little bit of the old her does pop out, like when they're talking about her and Tom, because she's like, yeah, even though I'm on the other side of things and things are looking up and I'm really trying to put things together, you know, Tom's cases are starting, so that's still just like in the background, and there's nothing I can do about that. But she also states, I know I shouldn't laugh because it's wrong, because especially knowing where Tom got all that money from victims, it wasn't really his money. He's spending victims' monies. But the fact that, I shouldn't have laughed, but Erica totally mentioned, like, she's like, you know, I actually did the respectable thing and just took a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and went to my new place, versus the second wife cleaned him out. And she's like, part of me wishes I just would have done the same thing. But, you know, that would look real bad. I'm like, yeah, I would have. You know, if Erica was going to do that, she should have did that probably 2 or 3 years before that news broke of where that money and all that was coming from. But child, it's, you know, sometimes, I don't know, that, because she would have been tangled up in that a lot more if she would have done that. So I don't know if that would have been a good idea either way. But anyway, so then they also talk about the Bose, Erica, and Dorit thing. And really, so Erica and Dorit are basically talking about why is everyone so bothered that they're so close to Bose. And really, it's not everybody being bothered. It's certain people being bothered that Dorit is close to Bose. It's not really about Erica. It's all about Dorit. Because again, they're trying to get, I feel like they're trying to just get Dorit off the show. And now they're not going to be able to. And by them, I think really Kyle. I think, you know, Kyle has her own new version. The way I'm looking at this, I just kind of see it as like Kyle is trying to create her new version of Fox Force 5. And now it's, I mean, Erica never left, so she's always going to be right there. And then we have, but then Sutton and Garcelle over on that side now. I feel like that's what's happening. And I really don't want that to happen. So hopefully things pop off where it doesn't, because we don't need alliances like that on the Housewives, especially this franchise. Like, I hope that's not what's happening. But anyway, so Erica and Dorit are still talking about the hypocrisy of Kyle and how, like, the very obvious thing that all that needed to be said, and I don't know why, I think even last episode, I'm not sure if it was said or not, I think they were so angry with each other, it wasn't really ever said. But it's like the very simple adage of like, if the shoe was on the other foot, would you be okay with Dorit like texting Mauricio? And we know the answer to that is a hell no. She would not be okay with that. But anyway, that's more of that, more of the same thing. Let's get to the next scene. Okay, I'm actually glad we kind of got a break from the Dorit and Kyle mess, because I honestly, I don't want the whole season to be this. But the break was kind of a break that it's a break that I honestly would have never thought I would ever see this on this show. And what it was is Bose is on her way to surgery to get her fibroids taken out. She apparently, one of her fibroids is so big, is as big as a baseball. And for those who don't know, I also have fibroids. And honestly, ever since I found out that I have fibroids, because I didn't have them before. I got them kind of in like my 30s. I may have had them before, but didn't even know it. But I know for a fact I definitely had them in my 30s. And ever since I've had them or discovered them, it's me losing weight has been a little bit more difficult, but also I'm getting older. So it's like a combination of things. But at least when it comes to mine are going away on their own. Like I did, so when I first found out I had fibroids, I had, I think, like 11 of them. And now I'm down to only having like 9. So they're shrinking and going away on their own. And none of them are in like the areas that, you know, are deadly. Like I don't have them on the uterus lining or anything like that. But the other thing that we find out though with this is that her boyfriend, Keely, that's his name is Keely. I told you we're going to get his name. Keely takes her to the hospital, gets her prepared for the surgery. And we also find out in that beach conversation, they actually want to have kids. They're both older. You know, I think she's 48 and he's like 40. No, he's 48. She's 49. But they still want to, you know, they want to have a child together. So they're serious. I didn't know how serious they were in the last episode, but it's clear that they're serious. And so, but she has a surgery, seems like it was successful. 4 hours later, after she, you know, was done with the surgery and everything, apparently, I guess it took that long. And I would imagine it would take a while, because also too, side note, if the surgery is not successful, there is a risk that she could never have kids. And this would be a new conversation she would have to have with him, because they came into this relationship wanting to have a child together. You know, when you're older and you start dating, you cut through the BS. You're like, what are we doing here? I don't know if y'all know that, but like, that's how it is when the older you get with the dating. Because I'm like that too. I'm like, okay, where are we at? Are we compatible or not? I will know within the first meeting, let alone date, if we're going to be compatible or not. It's just like that. You just kind of have to cut through all that. But anyway, so 5 hours later, after the 4 hours, so 9 hours have passed, it's 4 something in the afternoon. Kyle does go to pay Bose a visit. She's bedridden, of course, because, it's still the same day of the surgery. And all the girls, looks like they sent her flowers. And ironically, Kyle and Dorit's flowers were next to each other. And Kyle, being the hater she is, she's like, my flowers look nicer than hers. No, they don't. And maybe this is a preference thing. I love Dorit's flowers more. Easily. I'm a sucker for lilies. And Dorit had lilies. And also, too, stylistically, I feel like those flowers that Dorit had matches Bose's home more than Kyle's. Just saying. Anyway, so they're talking, and Bose is not amused at all. She's like, either she really wants to get to know me, or she wants me to pick a side. That's hers. I'm like, Bose, I don't see it for Dorit all the way, but because Kyle's so insufferable, I'm sorry, I'm going any side that Kyle's not on. I cannot stand Kyle. And so I kind of see what Bose got going on here, because I think she can see the fakery from a mile away when it comes to Kyle. I think she probably sees it with Dorit a little bit too, but at least Dorit's fakery is harmless. You know what I mean? But anyway, so Kyle is just lying. She's talking about the fight, and she's like, you don't know the history of this group, yada, yada, yada. If you knew the history, you would know that that's not me texting him is not really that inappropriate. It's like, girl, it doesn't matter. And I don't understand why she doesn't understand. And Kyle's just gaslighting the hell out of all of us as an audience. She's trying it. It's like, it doesn't matter. If that's your girlfriend and you met them both at the same time as a couple, I'm sorry, I'm going to need you to do the big one and pick you got to pick a side and stay there. And technically, girl code rules, typically as women, we're going to pick the woman's side. I had a situation like this, during the pandemic, and I met them as a couple. Guess what side I picked? The girl side. I just did. I'm sorry. And looking back, I should have put neither of them sides because they both were wrong. And so I'm not friends with either of them anymore. But that's neither here nor there. That's just a side note. But both of them were toxic. But anyway. So, but Bose can just see it a mile away. She's like, Bose this whole entire time, basically this whole entire episode, let me just sum it up. Let's just get Bose and off her POV out the way. I don't want to do that to her, but really not much happened this episode other than just them talking about the aftermath of the fight. So let's get into it. So basically Bose this whole entire time with everyone she's talking to that isn't basically Dorit or Erica, she's like, this is not kindergarten. I'm not going to pick a side. I'm going to observe, form my own opinion. Wherever side I go with is wherever side I go with. You're not changing anything over here for me. That's pretty much the business that Bose is standing on, and I love it. Because this is a new group. You don't know these women like that for real. None of them. So you can form your own opinion. And just the fact that these women are just so bothered that she picked Dorit's side, I'm sorry, it's kind of ridiculous. Like, I get it, because I remember the first episode when I saw they were bonding, I was like, oh, that's an interesting turn of events. But that was like literally all I had for them. I was like, that's an interesting turn of events. And convenient for Dorit. But do you think Bose is doing this and it's not convenient for her too, to a certain degree? She is a self-made businesswoman. Hello. let's just be so for real. But anyway, so Kyle continues to lie in her face, and as she's talking more and trying to explain, and Kyle's one of those people, she thinks she's making sense, but she over-explains so much to the point where she doesn't realize that she basically exposed her own lie. And Bose caught it when she was saying, it's like, oh, she's lying. She's lying. Okay. She kept it cute. She stayed on the poker face and kept it moving. But that's all that happens here. Okay, so then the next scene was kind of a cute scene, was where basically Garcelle, Kyle, and Sutton decide to surprise Erica. Because Erica was, bothered that she didn't have any type of party or any type of liberation celebration for her independence of no longer being married. And, they all felt bad, like, no, we're going to do this for her. So these girls literally brought her to a pizza party and gave her a pizza party. They surprised her and took her to Chuck E. Cheese. But it was cute. So all the girls are playing all the games, they're having a good time, they're having some of the pizza. It was great. They actually ate, and Erica, ironically, loved it. And it was one of those things where it was like, either she was going to love it or hate it. And she actually absolutely loved it. She's like, I actually do love Chuck E. Cheese, like, actually. Like, I had me a good old time. And so I think what Erica wanted, it was accomplished for her. She's like, I just wanted someone to just acknowledge, my effort and how much I'm on the other side of things. And Sutton gave one of her speeches, and it meant something to Erica, and it was cute. Even though Erica and Sutton still have this Cold War going on, and on the after show, it's very clear they have a Cold War still, especially on the Erica side. Erica and Sutton, they're just interesting. They are frenemies. There we go. They're frenemies, and they always will be frenemies. Like, they're like basically Karen and Giselle. You can tell they respect each other. There's respect there, but there's always going to be some shade there. But anyway, so then from there, they're sitting down, and after basically Sutton gives Erica her flowers and navigating and all that, then, Kyle's like, it's great to see that you're on the other side, because Kyle's still on the other side, still on the side where she's not sure what she wants to do. It's very obvious she's not sure. I think she actually has regret that she even made the decision to separate. I don't think she wants the separation anymore, but at this point, it's too far gone, because clearly Mauricio's happier on the other side of it, so she doesn't want to say anything. But to me, it's kind of giving that a little bit, because I think she thought Mauricio was going to be pining over her, begging for her back, all those things, and it didn't go like that at all. Anyway, so then Kyle is still so they're talking about this, and then Garcelle's like, we're women of a certain age, we're mothers, we're business women, we're bosses. If you want to be a lesbian, be a lesbian. And it was like, everyone at Chuck E. I feel like it was like everyone at Chuck E. Cheese just went quiet. I was like, it was another case of Kyle getting stuck. Her face was stuck. And she's like, again, I thought this was another conversation we're not going to have on camera. I feel like every time Kyle gets called off on her BS and not living her true, authentic life, that is the look that she gives. But anyway. So, and then after show, Kyle was like not happy about it and said that was asshole for that Garcelle was being an asshole for doing that. So yeah, she was not happy about that. Oh well. But I don't know why anyone was surprised because of Garcelle. Garcelle and her timing, it almost is never her time. That's what we like about her. She's blunt, but the timing a lot of times is off. Not as bad as Sutton, but child, both of them are like 1A, 1B when it comes to that kind of thing. But anyway. So then from there, they're talking about the text messages again, and Kyle is continuing to deflect, making about, back to the Bose and Kyle situation. Kyle had the audacity to bring out some beaming footage that is public domain of the scene of after Dorit's house got broken into, and she was hugging Mauricio and gave him a kiss. And she's sticking with the story about there's rumors about her like being up on my man. Well, I'm not acting a certain way. And it's like, girl, the context of that was y'all were all in good terms with your husbands at that time. And I'm sorry, I'm kind of convinced y'all might have had an arrangement too. So it's not the same. Now that, especially since I don't understand why Kyle doesn't understand that Dorit and PK are not in good terms. So therefore you can't be on good terms with PK. I don't get why she doesn't get that. And her trying to gaslight us is just wild. But anyway, so then she does eventually show the text of what she texted PK and basically exposed that she lied to everybody. And then Sutton and Garcelle are side-eyeing the crap out of Kyle because they're like, girl, she lied. That's incriminating. Why would she say that? That seems like she's been talking to him. And Kyle knew what she was doing. She did that on purpose because she did this while the cameras were rolling. So part of this is self-produced. Let's be so for real. But anyway, so then that's kind of all that happens here. And then kind of on to the next and final scene. And this scene was a scene I've been wanting ever since I found out that Bozoma St. John was going to be on this show. I wanted to see this. And it is Garcelle paying Bozoma a visit. Now, one thing that I was sighing, Garcelle, I'm going to sigh you yet again. Why are you against taking off your shoes in the home? I thought most Black people did that. Am I off? I'm sorry. This is actually a legitimate question. I was raised where you, especially if you have nice floors and stuff, you don't wear your outside shoes inside. She was confused by it. She was like, that goes with my outfit, but I'll take it off. Like, so she kind of made a little bit of a fuss about it. So I kind of sighed Garcelle with that. But anyway, they ended up eating some Jamaican food. And Garcelle was the only one who brought her food versus bring her flowers. And Bozoma like, yes, thank you. Everyone's bringing me flowers. Bring me food. So they're chilling, kikiing. And this is what I was looking for because the way both of them, and I don't know if they noticed it, but I noticed it immediately. Well, mainly with Garcelle. Bozoma always talks this way. Bozoma doesn't code switch. Garcelle did, though. To a certain degree. And I was enjoying the kiki. I was like, yes, feed me more. So I was loving it. But like, Garcelle came in hot. She's like, because at first they were talking about the fibroids of it all and they could relate. So they had that conversation. But after that, she was like, your embryo is up to Reed's coochie. And the fact she said coochie. They were table talking for real, and I loved it. And Bozoma was like, she cracked up. She got a good kiki out of that. But Bozma is still thinking how she's been thinking. She's like, look, I'm going to have my friends. I'm going to pick my friends the way I want to pick my friends. This is not like 5th grade. I don't know what y'all want me to do with this. But she's like, but you could tell at the moment, her and Garcelle are still having a good kiki. And Garcelle gave her the tea. Told her about the text message. It told her what was said in the text message. Now, the words were kind of off. Because I will say this. Wouldn't say anything and will not say anything. Words mean things. It said wouldn't say anything. It didn't say will not say anything. I know that's some semantics, but because text messages, I kind of do agree with Erica a little bit in the after show. Text messages are dangerous when you're having serious conversations because they could get translated all kinds of wrong. I have falling out with I had a whole entire argument with someone via text message because I translated them saying something aggressively and they were just saying, good job. But I thought they were saying, good job. Like, I don't know. It was like one of those weird things where it could have got translated one way or the other and translated them being mad at me. And we got a whole entire fight via text. And all we need to do is just talk on the phone and there probably none of that would have even happened. But I'm saying all that to say the will means y'all are still communicating. The wouldn't means you're talking about past tense things that you knew about when everyone was still good. So I think Kyle has a point there because that was mentioned in the after show about what was it like? Yeah. But we already know Garcelle is a little messy. Well, she ain't a little messy. Her and son are messy. They're messy boots. And she's a bone collector, bone carrier. So she carried this bone over to Bozma. And Bozma's like, oh, she's going to run with that bone now. I'm like excited because at the very end of this, she's like, Kyle lied. Kyle lied. Because at the end of the day, no matter what the text message said, the principle of the matter is Kyle still lied. Because Kyle this whole entire time keeps saying, it was just memes and no, it's not just memes and GIFs. It was a text message. And the T is you sent the text message first. It wasn't PK. Anyway, so that is the episode. That kind of concludes it. I think I stretched it more than I needed to because I added more of my 2 cents to the whole entire situation. But I just want the season to not be all about this plot. I want to see more of Bozma and Garcelle getting along. I actually want that conversation to happen when it comes to the group and everyone playing tug of war with Bozma. I want them to actually have that conversation out loud because it is kind of ridiculous. Like, it's like literally the opposite of last season when it came to like 8.5. No one wanted anything to do with 8.5 last season. Everyone was doing Bozma this season. But anyway, that does conclude the video. Please like, comment, subscribe to the channel if you get anything out of the content. It's your girl Sharon, aka the Melanin Nostalgic Runner, and I will see you next time. Bye.